The goal of this study was to generate a dialogue between Israeli researchers and experts and the Iranian activists outside of Iran, former diplomats, former revolutionaries, former student leaders, current civil rights activists, researchers who some of their families still in Iran, and some of them they are very active outside of Iran. We wanted to see how both of us, we share the same concerns for the region and how we see the changes and the developments after the Jcpoa in the Middle East and internationally.
What are the most important conclusions of this study?
Majority of the participants believe that Iran will withdraw from its commitment and obligations as soon as it improves its economy and its international position. They do believe that this regime specifically has not given up any desire or for acquiring any kind of nuclear weapon. But those who we met with agree that the most important and the most challenging phase right now in Iran is who will lead Iran after Khamenei. Mm-hmm. We don't have any specific personality who has been pointed out either by him or by other groups as the potential next leader. Mm-hmm. Other aspects of the domestic issues that we discuss is the economy. Mm-hmm. Many believe that in order to improve the economy, Iran needs a massive foreign investment. But this massive foreign investment requires also a massive reform in the current economic foundations and infrastructure. And those who understand the Iranian economy, they explain that the current system needs a massive reform, that this specific cleanup will bring to political explosion. Mm-hmm. So they didn't see that the removal of the sanctions will bring immediately to a significant and considerable change in the economy of Iran.
Do you expect Iran to become more liberal and moderate after the Jcpoa?
This is what the supporters of the deal, especially the American administration, were trying to say that's going to happen. The people we spoke with, the Iranians in exile, were of an exactly opposite opinion. Think that their position is more accurate. Their position was that because of the Jcpoa, now the regime feels much more confident, and there's no intention to let the reformist / realistic elements like Rouhani have an upper hand in what's going on inside Iran. As a matter of fact, the abuse of human rights in Iran grew after the Jcpoa, and the assessment of the Iranians we spoke with was that this is going to be the way things are going to happen in the future. And all those who were misleading the international community by saying that this is a possibility, according to the Iranians, and I think they're quite right, are doing that just in order to justify a bad deal, so that people say, oh, there is some hope in the end of the tunnel. They don't see it.
Regarding the internal dynamics and power struggle, has the IRGC been weakened by the Jcpoa?
At this stage, after the nuclear deal, Jcpoa brought to some sort of straining position of the hardliners, the IRGC and the House of the Leader. In this power struggle between these two camps, between these two factions, the challenge for Khamenei is to show that he did not give up, he did not compromise any of the revolutionary principles. It was an act of heroic flexibility that he expressed in order to get to the negotiation and to get to this nuclear agreement that we're talking about.
Why was the ideological nature of the regime so significant to the nuclear issue?
The West, through the process, forgot that actually this regime is a revolutionary regime, is a regime of ideology. This specific agreement granted the legitimacy to the regime that suppresses its own people, and people they are interested in transformation into democracy by having more freedom and more human rights.
Is the Jcpoa a game changer?
Future of the Middle East is going to be different than the one we could have envisaged before the Jcpoa. First of all, it is seen by everybody in the region and in Iran as a reflection of the weakness of the West. And that opens the gate for Iran to extend its influence in the Middle East and to become not only an hegemonic power in the Middle East, but also an international player. That's what they actually want. And the West was not ready to confront Iran, and because of that, it chose to make a deal with Iran, and that proves that the Iranians were having the upper hand. In the Middle East itself, it made the pragmatists in the Middle East so frustrated that they immediately understood that they cannot rely anymore on the West. So the new partner they chose is Israel. And that's why we see that there's growing cooperation between them and Israel. And this cooperation is even becoming more public, not only underneath the surface. That by itself brought another change, and that was that the Palestinians were worried about their issue becoming marginalized. And that's how the Palestinians decided that they should actually embark on a new wave of terrorism to remind the world that they are here and somebody has to take care of them as well.
What is the future of Iranian-Israeli relations?
This opportunity of discussing the situation in the Middle East on the international arena, and especially in Iran itself, between Israeli scholars and Iranian experts, Iranians that are involved in this ongoing battle about the future of Iran, was extremely not only interesting but also important, because it was by itself a proof that the Iranian people and the people of Israel have common interests. And we can discuss these matters.